guys. Is this mic on? It's on. All right. Now, look, you made some noise for him, and I appreciate that. But I don't deal with just that kind of noise. I came a long way to put on a good show for you. Are you guys ready to see alligators? All right. Now we're in business. All right, guys, let me tell you a little bit about what we do. And, of course, from one of our TV shows there, you can kind of put it together. We come from Beaumont, Texas. This thing started off where we just kind of have a roadside exhibit. Well, it grew really fast over that. Back in 1984, the park where we're currently at, right on Interstate 10, was opened up as an old alligator farm where they actually grew the alligators for the meat and the skins. It ran from 1984 till 1998 as an alligator farm. Well, in 1998, the old guy who had it got in some trouble with Parks and Wildlife and locked the gate and left 1,100 alligators in there. It stayed abandoned for 7 years. Nobody even knew it was in there. Well, after we came along in 2005, when I got there and got ready to rebuild the place and open it up as a tourist attraction, there was only 2 alligators there. I have no idea where all the rest of them went. Now, when we got there, though, there was a good surprise. There was a really big alligator there. Anybody here ever been to our place in Beaumont? We had a couple people yesterday. What's the big alligator's name? Big Al, that's right. He's certified in the state of Texas to be the largest alligator in captivity in Texas, and he represents us well, doesn't he? He is a massive animal. Now, he's only 13'4". That's not what's really cool. What's really cool is that animal weighs 1,003 pounds. He's a massive alligator. Now, there was one other alligator that was there with him, and her name was Allie. She was a 9-foot female. I said it was a 9-foot female. That's because after living with Big Al for many, many years, a couple years ago, she broke out of her pond with Big Al and met me in the parking lot. I noticed she was missing about 8 inches of her tail. Well, Big Al had actually bitten off 8 inches of her tail. But she packed her bags and filed for a divorce. She took all of her assets and moved to our back pond in the back. So you guys come to see us and you see an alligator missing her tail, you'll know that's one of the old original alligators named Allie. Let me, before I start bringing the animals out here for you real quick, let me answer a couple questions about TV real quick for you. Back in 2008 was our first national TV show. We got a call from a guy by the name of Jeremy Wade. Does a show over on Animal Planet. Does that ring a bell? Anybody know Jeremy Wade? Sweetheart, what show is that called? Help her out. Anybody know? River Monsters, yeah. That's the first national TV show I did. And matter of fact, we did his very first episode with him. Jeremy's going on to do real well. After that, I signed a 1-year deal with CMT for a show called Gator 911. After I did that year of television, I jumped over to A&E with that crazy exterminator, Billy the Exterminator. We did 2 years of TV with Billy. Now, that was pretty weird. He's a good guy, though. After that, we do a local show back home every Sunday night, and we just signed a new deal. Now, I can't tell you a whole lot about it, but I can tell you be ready, because this is good. With them dummies down in Florida sticking their head in alligator's mouth, I really had to raise the bar, right? Think about it. The best way to catch an alligator is to look like an alligator. That's all I can tell you about my new show. Think about it. It's insane, really is. All right, let me get this out of the way real quick. Yes, I got bit by an alligator. I'm not too proud to tell you. I catch a whole bunch of them. As we were loading our truck and trailer up to come up here to see you guys, I got a call from Parks and Wildlife. An alligator was on one of our local highways, and I was in a hurry. That front had come in, it was raining, and instead of just taking a rope and getting it done, it was about a 6'3" female, and I went to grab her, and when I did, I missed, and she got me here. And it doesn't look that bad. The problem is, snapped 2 tendons right there. It won't move, so I might have to have surgery Wednesday on it, but it's a part of the business. It's what happens. Remember, I'm not against hunting an alligator, the way that they pull them up and shoot them, but I promise you, that's a whole lot easier than the way I catch them. Make no mistake about it. All right. With that said, guys, what we're going to do now, we're going to actually start bringing out some animals. And I want to talk to you real quick about the way these alligators enter the world, okay? And I'm going to make it simple for you younger folks so you can really understand. There is a 63-day gestation period inside the mama alligator's stomach. What that means for you young folks is she grows eggs inside her tummy for 63 days. Halfway through that period, the mama alligator will come out of the water, and she'll begin to pack the ground up really tight. What's she making? A nest. Very good, Waco. She's making a nest. Now, that nest is very special. She'll pack it really tight because she wants that nest to be what on the inside? Warm and moist, exactly right. She wants it to be warm because these are what kind of animals? Don't say alligators. Did you say mammals? Very good. What does that mean? They're what? Reptiles are what blooded? Very good. Reptiles are cold-blooded, meaning their body core temperature is at 88 degrees. Ours is at 98, okay? Now, here's what's cool about the nest. After the mama alligator puts the eggs in there, for the first 2 weeks, if the average temperature of that nest is 85 to 87 degrees, they'll all be born what? Don't say alligators. They'll all be born female. 85 to 87 degrees makes the females. 87 degrees and higher makes the males, which means, by the way, the guys are hotter than the girls, right? That was funny, y'all. Wake up. Maybe in alligator world anyway. But anyway, as they start to hatch out, they make a little barking sound, and the mama alligator does something really special next. And I've done a lot of filming for Nat Geo with this. The mama alligator will come out of the water, and she'll spread that nest out. Then she'll begin to roll over one at a time and pick those baby alligators up. Why is that so special? Because that alligator bites down with 3,000 pounds per square inch. And to watch them be that gentle with their young, I mean, it really is special to watch that. Now, we're going to actually bring one out for you here. Vicky's going to show you guys something pretty cool. This is one of our last, and she's going to make her way through the crowd, guys. Yesterday, we had them up here. I want them down there with you guys. I want you guys to see these animals. Now, we're going to move pretty fast with it, okay, because we got a lot of animals that'll be coming out. And by the way, guys, all of these animals that you're going to see come out, at the end of our show, we've got a lot of staff to help us. We're going to take them out over here, and we're going to do pictures for you, okay? So don't try to get a picture now. I promise you, we'll get you pictures over here after the show. All right, this little guy right here was born last September. That's about an average size for an alligator. That's about 8 to 9 months old. Now, what you'll notice, guys, when they start to hatch out of the egg and the mom gets them all down to the water level and they hang out in a group, they hang out in that group for about a year at a time. What's that group called? Anybody know? They stay in a group together. It's a pretty tough one, especially if you're from Mid and West Texas. You might not know that. That group that they hang out in is called a pod, all right? And that mama will defend those alligators with her life. But here's the problem. How many of you guys out there got more than one kid? Raise your hand, parents. It's tough enough to keep up with them, right? Can you imagine keeping up with 30 babies at a time? That's what the mama alligator's got to do. Here's the problem. They're born at about 5 to 6 inches long. When they're swimming around out there, everything preys on baby alligators. Raise your hand if you can name me something. Come on, you guys are going to get into this with me. All right, big fish. That's right. That's one thing that gets them. What else? Raccoons. That's another good one. All right. Hey, don't forget, if those alligators are born down there in South Louisiana, number one thing they better watch out for is them swamp people, right? That's number one. All right. But seriously, guys, number one is other alligators that prey on baby alligators. Somebody said that, and you're exactly right. Here's the deal. There's a 2-foot rule in the alligator business. A 6-foot alligator will eat a 4-footer. An 8-foot alligator will eat a 6-footer, and we all know a 10-foot alligator will eat people, right? If you didn't, you just got your money's worth for your admission today because you learned something. All right. Now, with that said, guys, if you look at that little baby alligator, he's got stripes all over him. What's he need those stripes for? Camouflage. That's right. Besides his mother watching his back, that's the only defense he's got. When they're that small, what do you think they eat out in the wild? Raise your hand. Let me see who knows. Name something. Bugs. What else? Bugs. What else? Frogs. That's right. Name one. Little fish, right? Things like that. They pretty much eat anything that's not bigger than they are. All right? Now, guys, only about 10 of those 30 that are born are going to survive. All right? Now, that's not a bad thing, and let me tell you why. For you folks that are from Texas, I can tell you this. I'm real proud to be the first national TV show over alligators. Do you know, not many people know that we have 500,000 alligators down there on the Gulf Coast? A lot of people don't know that. They do now because of all the TV shows that we've done. Now, here's the thing. Back in 1968, the American government put the alligator on the what list? On the endangered species list. Let me see. One of you kids tell me what endangered means. Where you at? Tell me what it means. Exactly right. There's a small population of them, and if we don't take care of them, they'll go away, right? In 1968, from Corpus Christi, Texas, all the way up to North Carolina, there was only 20,000 alligators. That's literally nothing. It's almost gone. What they did, they went out and they gathered every nest they could. Remember, they only nest one time a year, and that'll be in the June time frame. They got them, they got all the eggs, put them in the incubators at 85 to 87 degrees, making what? Very good, you're staying with me, good job. 85 to 87 degrees for the females. They released all those mama alligators along the Gulf Coast from 1968 to 1975. Because of that conservation effort today, in the 3 counties by Louisiana, Orange, Jefferson, and Chambers County, we have 400,000 alligators. We have a lot. A lot of people don't know that we have that many. That's why Jenna and I are so busy every day. Sometimes we'll catch up to 12 alligators in a day, and those are all nuisance alligators. We don't do the hunting thing. Those are nuisance alligators. All right, with that said, I'm going to bring out another really special little animal for you. Now, this little animal is one of my favorite of all the 352 alligators I got. It's one of my favorite. She's got a really cool story. You'll see Jenna moving around with her there. Everybody, say hi to Lizzie. This is Lizzie. All right? Now, here's Lizzie's story, guys. This is my part of my show where I tell you that it is illegal for you to own an alligator, all right? You cannot own an American alligator. You can own a crocodile, you can own a caiman, but you cannot own an American alligator. This alligator was actually seized out in Midland, Texas. I mean, you guys know where Midland is. There ain't no water in Midland, Texas, right? They're not supposed to be there. Now, this alligator was out in Midland, and Parks and Wildlife called me and said, look, Gary, we can't find a home for it. We can't release it. It can't go to a zoo. Will you take it? I get on an airplane and fly all the way to Midland. I pick Lizzie up, and then I think about something. Man, I didn't think this through very well. How I'm going to get this alligator home? So I go up there. I didn't want to rent a car. It's a 12-hour drive. So I take Lizzie to the counter there at Southwest Airlines, and I said, can I fly home with Lizzie? And they said, no, you can't. So finally, after we made a few phone calls up the chain there, they finally said, look, go down there to Walmart and get you a dog box. Put her in a dog box with a padlock on it, and we'll give you an airplane ticket. So they did, but here's what they forgot to do. I left Southwest Airlines ticket, and I went over to TSA. Security people, you know? You ever try to get through security with an alligator? They forgot to tell them I was coming. It was a major, major deal. Finally, all I did was took Lizzie out of the box, let TSA take pictures, and they let me fly home with Lizzie. That's the only alligator to ever fly Southwest Airlines, I promise. All right, as Jenna's moving around with that alligator, I want to show you something really cool. How many sets of eyelids does an alligator have? Let's see who gets this right. Listen, guys, we came a long way, and we're putting a lot into this show for you. I want you guys to play the game. All right, let's see who knows this. Who says 2 sets? Raise your hand. For 2? Who says 3? Or 4? All right, all you people, that's strike 1 in the back. You didn't play the game. Yep, you, I'm talking to you. All right, they do have 3 sets of eyelids, all right? And here's the way it works. The first one goes up and down like mine and yours do, all right? The second one, when they go underwater, there's this membrane that slides forward. It acts like a pair of goggles underwater. That's called a nictating membrane. It also covers their earlobe. Now, the third set of eyelid is what we call an osteoderm. It's a bony platelet on the top of the eyelid. So when they close their eye, if they're in a fight with another alligator, it kind of protects their eye a little bit, all right? They do have 3 sets of eyelids. Now, real quick, guys, can an alligator bite you underwater? Who says yeah? Who says no? You see this thumb over here? That one happened in 8 foot of water with an 8 4 alligator. They'll bite you underwater, I promise. Now, I know I'm beginning to look like I'm not a professional, huh? This is really beginning to look bad. All right. Anyway, guys, what happens is the alligator can bite you underwater, but can he eat his prey underwater? What do you think? Who says yeah? You guys ever try to eat a sandwich underwater? What would happen? It'd get soggy, right? No. Y'all are a tough crowd, man. Y'all got to wake up. Look, guys, here's the deal. The alligator bites his prey underwater. He comes up. He opens what we call a palatal valve. There's a valve in the back of his throat that opens like that, and that's how they eat their prey. So if it helps you out any at all, an alligator can bite you underwater, but he can't eat you underwater, all right? All right. With that said, guys, it's question time because these next animals I'm going to show you are different. Let's talk about alligators. And I love questions, guys. There is no dumb question in the alligator world. I am very involved with a lot of studies with these animals with Texas A&M. Matter of fact, we spent Friday up there with A&M drawing blood on some of our gators and stuff. So trust me, there's no dumb question. Let me see those hands. Somebody got a question for me? Yes, ma'am. You know what? I'm going to cover that in my very next session for you when we bring out a different animal. I'll cover that for you. All right? You have a question? Do turtles lay their eggs where gators do? No. That mama alligator won't let anything near that nest. All right? Nowhere near. Yes, ma'am. Average weight of a 9-foot alligator. That's a good question, and I appreciate that because there's some of these TV shows out there that way over-exaggerate this. An average 9-foot alligator out in the wild ought to weigh about 250 to 300 pounds. Okay? That's an average. Now remember, they are only successful 3 in 10 attempts out of grabbing prey. They don't eat near as much as you think they do in the wild. Now in captivity, we probably feed them a little too much, but that's in the wild, all right? Yes, ma'am. Did Big Al eat all the other alligators? No, and you know what? Let me answer this for you. Talking about Big Al, a lot of people ask me how much I feed this animal. He's massive, right? The only time I've ever fed him all he could eat was right before Hurricane Ike hit us. We took a direct hit down there from that hurricane. And I wanted to feed him really good in case the fence went down, he wouldn't go away. Well, right across from Gator Country is a neighborhood, and they had some little bad kids that were spray painting on houses. I went over there and got those 2 little bad kids, and I fed them to Big Al. I'm just kidding. No, but really, I did feed him 55 pounds of chicken right before the hurricane, and he ate it all. He did. All right, that's a good question, sweetheart. Yes, sir. Bloodline. Like a blood type? Don't know the answer to that. I really don't. You got me. Wow. Jenna, remember that one. You got me. All right. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do then. If you guys are through asking questions about alligators, we're going to move on to a different type. All right? Now remember something. There are 4 subspecies of crocodilians around the world. We've talked about one, right? Alligators. See who can name them. Let's see if we can name them all. Name me another one. Go ahead. A crocodile. There's another one. Say it again. A caiman. Hang on a minute. Where do caimans come from? Don't say the Cayman Islands because that's not true. South America. Very good. And what is the 4th species? Those are called gharials. That's exactly right. All right? They have a really long snout with teeth hanging out everywhere, okay? Now, with that said, caimans, crocs, and gharials. I'm going to bring one out for you now. Let's see if you can get this right. Let's see who can figure out what this is. Whatever you do, don't let this animal down. It runs like 900 miles an hour. All right? Everybody will be scattering. All right. Now, Jenna will make her way through the crowd with this so you can see it. I want to see who can get this right. Remember, we got gharials, crocs, and caimans. It's going to be one of those 3. Once you can you let me hold him up 1 second so everybody can see, so we can. Okay. All right, guys, take a look real quick, and then I'm going to see if you guys can figure out what this is. All right. I can tell you this: you'll never be this close to one again. All right. All right. Who says a crocodile? Raise your hand. Caiman, raise your hand. Or gharial. All right. The rest of you people, that's strike 2. You didn't play the game. All right, guys. Just to let you know, that is a New Guinea crocodile. They own on the endangered species list, and we do house one there at Gator Country. That animal right there is about 4.5 foot long, incredibly fast. When I handle that animal without that tape, I handle it like a 10-foot alligator. It's insane how fast that animal is. Now, when you look at a crocodile, what is the biggest difference between a croc and a gator? Who knows? Somebody said the spelling yesterday. Don't say that. What's the biggest difference? Go ahead, man. The what? The teeth? No, not the teeth. What is it? It's the snout, right? Look how long that croc is, right? The alligator, the croc looks like a V, if you will, okay? It's like a V, and then the alligator looks like a U, all right? Now, when you look at them, which one do you think has more teeth? A gator or a croc? All right, let's see. Who says alligator has more teeth? Who says crocodile? You guys that say crocodile are absolutely wrong. Y'all gonna laugh at one time or another. Y'all gonna laugh. It is actually the American alligator that has more. How many teeth does an alligator have? Somebody try it. How many? Way less than 1,000. Try it. Way less than 400. Hey, there you've been in my show before? No? All right, that's exactly right. There's 40 on the top and 40 on the bottom. An alligator in their lifetime, here's the key word, will shed over 3,000 teeth. They shed them off. They don't break them like ours. They'll shed it as a hollow cone, and the other one's already pushing off. You get a chance to look at that mountain one down there, you'll see where one had broke off and the other one's already growing up. So they constantly regenerate teeth. Now, which one of those animals you think bites harder, a 10-foot croc or a 10-foot gator? We've done a pressure test on a saltwater croc and an alligator, and it is the American alligator. The alligator holds 3,000 pounds per square inch all around. As you get away from that long jaw on the croc, they lose a little bit of that. Trust me, it's still enough to do the job, though. All right? It is. Now, guys, here's something I got to teach you. Just in case you ever find yourself being chased by an alligator, I got to teach you this. If you don't learn anything else all day, remember what I'm about to tell you. For 100 yards, an alligator can run 22 miles an hour. I don't know about you, but I can't run that fast. So, how do you get away from an alligator? Zigzag. Anybody ever heard that? There's a show on Discovery I did for Mythbusters. I was their dummy that did the zigzagging. I got bit right there. Don't zigzag. It don't work. A lot of people say, that's fine, Gary. I'll climb a tree. Hey, look, you can climb a tree, but here's the problem. These animals have been around for 150 million years. They got no problem waiting on you for 3 or 4 weeks to come out of the tree. Don't climb a tree. The only successful way, kids remember this, the only successful way to get away from an alligator when he's chasing you and your buddy is to trip your buddy. That's it. All right. All right. All right, guys, with that said, there are 23 species of crocs, gators, gharials, and caimans around the world. Only 3 are known to fatally attack man. Only 3. What's number 1? Somebody said it. What kind of crocodile? Saltwater. That's number 1. What's number 2? Nope. Comes from the longest river in the world. The Nile crocodile. And then, number 3 is the American alligator. And that always makes me feel real good when I'm this deep in water with them. You know what I mean? All right. So, with that said, guys, we're about to switch animals on you. Whole different animal. These next animals we're going to talk about don't have any feet. And we ain't talking about fish. Is there anybody right here that's really scared of a snake? So I'll know not to. Anybody scared of snakes? Oh, okay. Good. I'm glad you let me know that. All right. Guys, just real quick. Anything else on crocodilians before we switch gears? Anything else on crocodilians? Let's take a couple questions if you got them. How far can they see? Did you know alligators and crocs see in full color? They see in full color, but here's the problem. When you're right in front of an alligator, he can't see you very well at all. Think about how his eyes are positioned. He sees very well peripheral. He does not see you. That's why when I catch alligators, I catch them from the front. That's a big reason why. A lot of people want to get around and get on their back. If that animal ever throws you off and you ain't getting up fast enough, you're in his strike zone when he throws you off immediately. I handle them from the front. All right? Thanks for that question. Yes, ma'am. What's the difference between a caiman and an alligator? A caiman, by definition, is a South American alligator. Many, many millions of years ago, when South America and North America became different, those species of caimans became of their own. There are 7 species of them, which 6 of them are on the endangered species list. The gharials are from the Middle Eastern part of the world, and they're not human. They don't even hardly eat meat other than fish. They're just fish catchers. Is there a way to tell a difference between a crocodile and an alligator? There's a ton of biology that does go into it. The osteoderm patterns, there's a ton. And it would take me a long time. But yeah, there is some differences. There is. All right. What? Yes, sir. Alligators learn repetition. And that's what we in my park have to be careful about. If you do something over and over and over and they get it, You have to be prepared for that, okay? As far as smart goes, they've been around a long, long time. But I don't know, I have never made one sit and roll over and shake or any of that. Not yet, anyway. All right, yes, sir. There's patterns that are made up in our eyes that we know of what that is and what that takes to see color. And it's been studied. They have the same thing, okay? What is their best sense, by the way? Smell, absolutely right. It's smell, yes, sir. Caimans are very aggressive. The spectacled caiman, by the way, and I know we have one at the park, they jump really well. They'll jump twice their body length, and they are pretty aggressive. However, most of them don't get big enough, really. That's their only weakness, is they don't get big enough. The black caiman is the only one that gets about the size of the American alligator. I would love to have one. They're on the endangered species list. All right, we got some more animals to go, so let's get moving because this is a fun part for everybody here. Yes, sir, one more. Very good question. I don't get asked that much. Guys, is there a crocodile that lives in the United States? Who says no? Come on, get into this with me. All right, who says yeah, I think there is? All right, you think there is? Where's it at? No, I'm just asking. Anybody know where they're from? Because there is one, you're right. They come from a small pocket in the Everglades, okay? Do you know what their name is? Duh. It's American crocodile. All right? No, it really is. There's about 5,000 of them. They are very, very closely watched by U.S. Fish and Wildlife. There's a reason they cannot move inland. Anybody know what it is? They're stuck out there. Why? Not salt water. Weather. They cannot deal with cold weather. The American alligator, if you guys know, you probably have some up here every now and then. They will travel inland a good ways. The American croc cannot move out of there. They will freeze to death and die. Okay, that's the reason we don't have more of them. Good question. Sir? The only crocodilian species that actually can stay in salt water, no matter how high the pH level is the Australian saltwater croc. That's because they have glands in their eyes that can filter that salt water. The rest of the species cannot. The American alligator can only take it up to level 6. I know we did a lot of stuff during Hurricane Ike where our alligators were stuck in salt water. Parks and Wildlife flew us out to move those alligators out of all that. So I learned a lot during that period about that, a lot. I actually got bit. We were in a bar ditch, and they had given me a biologist that was testing the water because everything was dead out there, y'all guys. It was horrible. All the barbed wire fences during the hurricane had cows pushed up against it, coyotes, bobcats, you name it, and it was just death everywhere. So we had to go move those. Well, they would test the water before I would get in it, and just as I got bit on the arm, the biologist found botulism in the water, so they had to fly me out, and believe me, this is like a regular day occurrence. All right, guys, here's what we're going to do. Now we're going to talk about these animals that don't have any feet, but listen, we're not going to talk about pythons. We're not going to talk about cobras. We want to talk about the 4 venomous snakes that live here, all right? So let's stay focused on that for a minute because I'm going to show you a highly venomous snake in just a few minutes. Now, once again, how many species do we have that are venomous? How many? 4. All right, raise your hand, name one. Raise your hand. What is it? A rattlesnake. There's one. Yes, ma'am. Okay, we'll come back to that one in just a second. Copperhead, rattlesnake. I need another one. Okay, I need another one. Okay, I want to talk about that snake a second. It doesn't matter if I'm teaching over at A&M, down at LSU. It don't matter. Watch what's going to happen to this crowd with this question. A water moccasin, a cottonmouth. Same snake or no? See what I mean? I can see it already, though. So let's do this. Let's see how right I am. If you think it is the same snake, raise your hand. Raise your hand. If you think it's not, raise your hand. Okay, we're pretty close to 50-50, all right? No matter where I go, this happens. So let me dispel this for you. When you walk up on a water moccasin, the first thing that snake's going to do is take his tail and beat it on the ground. What's he trying to tell you? Back up. Who said come play? I heard that. Back up, right? If you don't back up, he is notorious for doing this next thing. He'll roll back and open that mouth, and what are you going to see in there? Looks like that man's shirt right there. It is as white as a piece of cotton. That's his warning device, all right? Hence the name cottonmouth, all right? Now, Rattlesnake, copperhead, cottonmouth, all belong to what family of snakes? Pit vipers. That's exactly right. Of those 3 snakes to bite people in the United States, which one bites more people? Who says rattlesnake? Cottonmouth or copperhead? It is overwhelmingly the copperhead. It's not even close. Why? Number one, have you ever seen that snake in a bed of pine straw? You can't see him. His camouflage is wonderful. Number two, that little snake is not even happy on Christmas Day, right? And number three, he likes to live around those farms where there's a lot of feed sacks. What's he looking for? That's right. People go in to get that feed sack and they get bit. Luckily for us, since records were kept in the early 1900s over venomous snake bites, there's only been 2 fatalities of a copperhead bite. So what am I telling you? You're not going to die, all right? Number 2 to bite people in this country is a rattlesnake. Different story. You get hit by a rattlesnake, you got an issue. What's the most important thing you can do if you get bit by one? Exactly right. That is the single most important thing you can do is to stay calm. How about this, guys? While you're staying calm, you're going to take your pocket knife and cut it and suck it out? You better not. Don't do that. No. All right. Here's a serious question about it, though. Say you're 30 minutes away from medical help and you get tagged by a western diamondback rattlesnake. Do you put a tourniquet on it? No. How about if you got 2 hours to go? That's a different story. That'll be one you'll have to make that choice. Because if you do that and you've got that venom caught right here, you're probably going to lose your hand. So that's a decision only you can make. What my advice is, stay away from rattlesnakes. You don't have no problem. All right? Now, I'm going to talk to you about a snake that I did a lot of studying on after it bit a good friend of mine. I actually studied this snake a lot. I do a lot of talking on this specific snake. There is a snake that lives in America that is called a cobra without a hood. And there's a reason why. And I brought one with me today, and I'm going to show you what one looks like in just a few minutes. This snake belongs to what we call the elapid family of snakes. What lives in the elapid family of snakes? Anybody know? Cobras, sea snakes, crate snakes, and the American coral snake. How many of you Americans knew that a coral snake lives in the same family as a cobra? Not many do. Not many do. And I really enjoy teaching that. The friend of mine that got bit by this snake was Jeff Corwin. You guys remember Jeff from Animal Planet? He was not playing with one, but he was doing a demonstration in San Antonio. And it bit him out of nowhere right there. 11 days in ICU because he was allergic to the anti-venom. He was in really bad shape. Now, there's 2 colors on this snake that have to touch. I have to teach you that because we have 2 other species of snakes that have those colors flip-flop. What are those other species? Anybody know? What? Not a corn snake. They do have colors, but right, a king snake. There's 2 names for that. It could be a California or a scarlet king snake. What else? She said it. It's the Louisiana milk snake. All right. They have those colors flip-flop. So what 2 colors have to touch to make it the real deal? Is it red and black, black and yellow, or red and yellow? Because the old saying that we're taught is what? Red and yellow kill a fella. Now, I will tell you this. Every spring back at our park, I've actually made a habitat for some so that I can catch them and show my guests that come to my park. I did bring a real one. I also have a replica. If you guys are freaked out with the real one, I'll bring out the replica. Which one you want to see? I knew you were going to say that for some reason. I did. Everybody always wants to see the real one. I would rather deal with a 12-foot alligator than I had this 4-foot snake. No, where's the tongs at? No, the snake tongs. That's my wife for right there. All right, guys, once again, these are pretty docile snakes. They really are. Once again, they can't even bite through your shoe. They're a rear fang snake. The problem is, though, if they do envenomate you, it is truly that bad. It really is. So, I hate doing this with a bad hand, right? All right. All right, guys, this is the most venomous snake. Look out, guys! Hey, you were going to throw the baby in the way of the snake, weren't you? Come on, man. All right. Throw that up here, man. Let me show everybody. All right. Guys, I do this on purpose. I really want you kids to see. You know who gets bit by this snake the most? Kids. And you know why? Sure does look nice and colored to pick up, right? So wherever we go, wherever we travel, I really want to make sure I do a really good impression on you about this snake. All right? If it looks anything like this, leave it alone. All right? It can only bite you if you pick it up. It will not bite through your shoe. All right. Good deal. I hope you guys, you'll remember that forever, won't you? Hey, I was doing that show out in Midland, and we sold 5,100 tickets for a charity event. It was a huge crowd. Well, I had 4 of my guys with me, and we all had that same type bucket. Well, they all get out in the crowd, and when I step on the stage to do my alligator presentation, I pick my lady. Like, I know who I'm going to get, right? So as we say a key word, I go in there to throw it. Before this snake lands on this lady's lap, she took her flip-flop off and hit me on stage with it. All right. Here's what we're going to do. This is the funny part of the show. I'm going to have me some help here. Huh? All right. Jenna and Vicky there are going to move around and find me some volunteers. Now, be known, it's got to be bigger volunteers. That tells you something, right? That should tell you something. Now, with that said, I'll kind of give you some information on what we're about to do. There are 3 species of what we call the heavy hitter snakes in the world. They belong to the constricting family. Name one. Say it again. I couldn't hear you. A python. There's one. What's another one? An anaconda is the world's heaviest snake. And what else? We got a boa, a python, and an anaconda, right? Even though the anaconda is the heaviest snake in the world, what's the longest snake in the world? That's the longest venomous snake in the world. What is the longest snake ever recorded? It was a reticulated python, 33 feet 1 inch. That's on record books. That's a big one. By the way, while we're doing that, you need to know, what is the biggest alligator ever recorded in the United States? Anybody know? No, not that one. The largest one ever recorded, guys, because there's a lot of rumors about this. All the facts that I talked to you about come out of U.S. Fish and Wildlife, where they actually have measurements. It's actually been done right. I have to tell you that because the folks down in Avery Island that own Tabasco, they claim that they killed a 19-foot 2-inch alligator in the early 1930s. And whenever they asked how they measured it, they said by a gun barrel, so whatever. Largest alligator ever on record was 1940. It was in Lakeland, Florida, 15 feet 7 inches. Your state record right here in Texas is 14 foot 4 inches, just to let you know. All right, guys, here's what's going to happen. First off, you should never volunteer for something you don't know what's going to happen. You was in the Army, and you volunteered for this? Man. All right. What's your name? Lacey. Lacey, and your name? Steve. Rachel and Jose. Here's the problem, guys. These snakes that you're about to meet do not have any venom. That's a good thing, right? However, they have 90 teeth in their mouth, and they all angle backwards. Why? Because when they bite, you ain't getting out. Oh, here's the other problem about their bite that I forgot to tell you guys before you came up here. They have an anticoagulant in their bite. What does that mean? That means when they bite you, you don't quit bleeding. Just thought I'd let you know that. All right. Now, after they bite their prey and they sink them teeth in, what do they do next? They start wrapping up, right? What they're doing is they wrap their prey up, and what they're doing, they're waiting for that animal to exhale. As that animal exhales, they take a little bit more of that room and a little bit more until suffocation happens. All right, I need to get you guys, get your hands straight out in front of you. Yep, just like that. All right. Hang on. All right. All right, what do you think you got there? Anaconda. An anaconda. Everybody, say hello to my most special snake, Banana. As in, hi, Banana. All right, you got the business in there, but you know what? Very special snake. Real quick, let me tell you the story. Back when I was filming with Billy the Exterminator, this snake broke out and got away from us. It stayed gone for 3 months in the woods. It's a true story. You good? She is a female. She's 16 foot long. She weighs 120 pounds. After she escaped, long story short, we did find her. She had third-degree burns. Albinos in the sun, burn, all right? She made a full recovery from that. A year later, she got stolen from us. Somebody broke in her outdoor building and stole this snake. It made national news. You guys may remember seeing that. It's been about 8 months ago. Long story short, we put so much media heat on that, they couldn't move the snake. Finally, about 2 months ago at 9:30 at night on a Sunday night, a deputy sheriff was driving by and found her at our front gate. Somebody just put her right back. And she was in great health, though. No sunburns, no none of that. So we know somebody, at least they took care of her. Anyway, she weighs about 120. Yeah. So, all right, guys, well, what you can do, Jenna, if you want to just get the bag and they can put her back in the bag. Yeah. Yeah. That's about as big as a Burmese will get. That's they'll get maybe a little bit bigger, but that's about it. She's a really good snake. One of my most docile animals we got. There you go. Just back her down in there. Now, guys, we're going to be doing. All right, y'all give them a hand, guys. They did a good job. Thank you so much. Thank you for playing the game. Thanks, man. All right, thank you. All right, guys. Real quick, we are going to do one before we break our separate ways and go do pictures. Any questions? You guys have been a very attentive crowd. So any questions? I love to answer questions. Could do it all day long. Real quick, what we're going to do when we finish this in just a second, we are going to go over here. I'm not done yet for you people walking off because I got a 10-foot alligator in that trailer right there, and you're about to meet him. So we're going to get this crowd right here to kind of scatter out a little bit. Some of you guys can even come up on the stage if you want. Now listen, guys, I am going to work with the alligator for you a little bit. I will tell you that at my shows, I normally open their mouths, pop their jaws for you. I mean, this guy can be a witness for me. I mean, we do some crazy stuff with alligators. However, I will tell you, with no strength in this thumb, I'm not taking the tape off his mouth. That would mean I had to catch him and redo it. So today, I'm sorry, I will tell you, I'm sorry about that, but I'm not going to take a chance with that today. It's a big alligator. He weighs about 450. But I'm going to work with him a little bit, kind of show you how they move around, show you their strike zones. These animals build up what we call lactic acid, guys. You will never, ever see me overwork one of my animals. There's another TV show right now on Animal Planet that's overworking those animals. Can you stick your head in an alligator's mouth? No. Think about what I'm telling you. They build up lactic acid. You know how we're in the gym and we get tired? We can put the weight down and 10 minutes later, we can do it again, right? Not an alligator. That lactic acid is fatal to those animals. If you work them and you work them and you work them, there comes a time when they'll just flop. At that point, you can do anything you want to with that alligator. However, he's going to die. They cannot get over that. That's fatal to the alligator. So if you're seeing somebody pick up a big alligator on their shoulder and that head's flopping like that, trust me, that's a dead alligator. They're just doing it because they wanted to do TV. And that upsets me. Because I sold them 20 alligators to do their show in Mississippi, and they killed 9 of them, and I just found out about it. So they won't be getting any more from me. All right, we'll kind of move over here so I can teach you guys how they do that. After we do that, don't forget, we'll be here for the rest of the day for a picture session. I will tell you this, we didn't charge these folks a dime to come here. I wanted to meet the folks at Waco, but we do accept money for pictures over here. So if you guys will help us out a little bit with that, we appreciate it. Let's work this big alligator real quick.